You're on an elevator and you're an FBI agent and you're on the elevator with three people: Hitler, Vladimir Putin, and an attorney. You pull out your gun and you look and you see that you only have 2 bullets. What do? Stay tuned, the answer's coming up. Hello again everyone, I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. Okay, so you're on the elevator with Hitler, Vladimir Putin, and an attorney. You got 2 bullets in your gun. What's the solution? You shoot the lawyer twice. Okay, we make a lot of lawyer jokes. There's a lot of lawyer jokes out there, but when you really need an attorney, you really need an attorney. And we found that there are a number of phrases in the legal profession that apply to your personal development. We've had 2 sessions on this before. This is our 3rd and final session on those particular sayings. Okay, let's get started. A precedent. Okay, well, we did a precedent. Okay, let's do the next one. A hung jury. A hung jury means they're indecisive. They can't come to a decision. You have 12 people that are in the jury box, and it has to be 100% either guilty or not guilty. If there's 10 guilties and 2 not guilties, or the other way around, it's a hung jury. Indecisive. One of the things that kills people's progress is indecision. There's a saying that says the worst decision is indecision. Once you make a decision, you move forward, then you start getting to starting lines. You'll run into new roadblocks, but the point is you've made the decision, you're going to move forward, and then you figure out how to accomplish it. You figure a new starting line, and you run the race as far as you can until you get to another roadblock. Make sense? Don't be in a hung jury. Mistrial. When tainted evidence or inappropriate evidence is presented, all right, or bad presentation of the facts is presented, that's a mistrial. Make sure that you get your facts straight, because if you don't have your facts straight, it can be disastrous. I've mentioned this before about a news conference when COVID-19 was first becoming a big deal, when we were first facing, all the different questions that the virus presented to us, all the problems it presented to us. I remember there was one particular news lady that was asking an expert and said, if it's COVID-19, how come we have all these questions if it's happened 19 times already? And then the expert looked at her and he said, "Ma'am, it's COVID-19 because it happened in the year 2019. This is our first experience with it." Wow, do you suppose that lady, one of the things we would say to her is, red's a nice color, isn't it? Order in the court. Structure. All right, discipline, another way of saying that. Discipline is your best friend. It allows you to do more. If you have a structure when you wake up in the morning, when you have that quiet thinking time, you're practicing thinking. That's one thing. The other thing is you're reviewing the past. Another thing you're doing is you're seeing the future. Another thing is you're planning your day. How many people in life have just that one? I'm not even talking about a ton. Just that one particular discipline, that one particular structure, that one particular order in their court. How much further could they go if they just set aside 5 minutes for themselves? All right, 10 or 15 would be better, but even 5 is enough. A million thoughts go through your mind, but you have to give yourself the chance. Einstein, who I just saw that there was a drink named after him. It's supposed to increase your brain power. So his name is synonymous with good thinking. Not only was a good thinker himself, but told us how to do it. This is the way you do it. You give yourself that thinking time. How many people just think, why would you ignore that? That's like Michael Jordan showing you how to shoot, or Steph Curry showing you how to shoot and saying, no, I'm going to do it my way. Okay? Come on. Order in the court. Discipline. And with order in the court comes on the docket. This is the order of the events that we're going to do. Do you set up on the docket sort of a to-do list? Okay, and I'm not a big fan of to-do lists except for a few. All right, so you may have 5 or 6 different things, or maybe even a few more on your to-do list, but the most important ones are the first couple that you have. Make those the first ones that you go, because then you achieve those. The other ones become a lot easier to do, but you have to have some sort of an order in the court, and have them placed on the docket in order to be an achiever. Make sense? Criminal libel or slander, written or spoken BS. There are so many bologna sandwiches. That's what BS stands for, by the way. There are so many bologna sandwiches that are out there in today's times. It's so difficult to figure out what's what and who's who. Eli and everybody else, when I was a puppy, we had like the 3 major networks, and we had the 3 anchors, or 4 anchors, whatever, the one network had 2 of them, and you could believe what they said. They didn't speak with a lot of bias. They didn't have a point of view. Today you turn on the TV and you hear Fox and you hear CNN, and everybody's got their particular bias. How do you know what to believe? That's why you have to make sure that you're not getting handed a bologna sandwich, because there's a lot of sandwiches being passed out there today because of the way social media works, because of the availability to communicate. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Before it was restricted somewhat, which is kind of a bad thing, but it was also kind of a good thing because it was top drawer. It was top drawer, and you could trust it. The most trusted man in the world was Walter Cronkite, okay, the newscaster for CBS years ago, okay? If that gives you any kind of an idea of how different things are today. So make sure that you examine it. You're not being handed a bologna sandwich for your lunch. Capital offense. All right, that's a big crime. But in terms of personal development, doing something strictly for the money. Okay? You don't do things strictly for the money. You have to say to yourself, what benefits am I going to be able to enjoy from doing this? And that's the key thing. Money is nice, money is great, let's make no mistake, money is great. But the point is, when you have the money, it's what you do with it. It's why you're doing it. What is the money going to allow you to achieve? Does that make sense? And when you have a burning desire, if your desire is only money, then that skews your thinking in terms of how you're going to accomplish that particular goal. So you've got to be true to yourself. Money is a byproduct of success. Constitution. Okay, that's what you're made of. What are your scruples? What kind of foundation do you have? As a parent, one of the things is you're trying to do the right things. You're trying to lead by example. You're not trying to do the wrong things, because you're always leading by example. That's the thing. Especially bosses in the workplace, they don't, they say, oh, lead by example. When they don't do something right, when they're taking shortcuts, that's leading by example too. And what does that tell the other people that are in the workplace? I can take shortcuts. I can take shortcuts. Leading by example is so important. What are you made of? What are your scruples? What is it you're giving to other people? As a leader, as a parent, as a teacher, as a friend. Think about it. How many people out there plead the fifth? Okay? I'm not going to answer that question. I refuse to incriminate myself. All right, well, in today's times, I think of pleading the fifth in a different light. I think of pleading the fifth as somebody having a problem either drinking or with drugs. All right? I couldn't do it because I had too much to drink, or I couldn't do it because I was too high. Hey, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've never had a drink, or you can finish that sentence, but the point is, there's a time and a place for everything. Make sure that you don't have to plead the fifth for something important because you were not responsible to do the right thing at the right time. Think about it. Immunity. Hey, I did it, but I really shouldn't be held responsible. Immunity. I'm going to tell on somebody else. Give me immunity. Really? You know, immunity is something, I hate to see them pass out immunity. You know, you've got to own up for the things that you do. You've got to own up for the things that you do. As simple as that. Right? I did it, but I shouldn't be held responsible. Come on. You did it. You're responsible. Keep it in mind. Misdemeanor. Very simple. The more you miss, the meaner you get. All right? So, but understand one thing. Turn that meanness when you miss into a challenge, into excitement to succeed. Say, okay, I didn't get it right this time, but I'm going to get a new starting line and I'm going to move forward from there. That's the way the 5%er thinks. The 95%er says, well, I missed, you know, it's kind of like 3 strikes and you're out. You know, I didn't succeed after 3 times. Life isn't a baseball game. You don't strike out. Walt Disney, my understanding, went bankrupt 7 times. What if he quit after 3 times? What if he quit after the first time? No Mickey Mouse. Come on! Can't have that. How does a 5%er think? A 5%er doesn't give up. Quit, once again, 4-letter word. And our last one in this series and on this video, alibi. Creativity. Because people are either creative in accomplishing a particular goal, a particular purpose, a particular objective, or they're creative with an excuse as to why they were not able to accomplish that particular goal. So there's always going to be a reason. There's always going to be an alibi. Either it's going to be, I did it because we worked like this and we worked together and we got things done, or we couldn't get it done because we didn't have the funding or we didn't have the resources or whatever. You follow what I'm saying? So, don't be an alibi Ike. Until we meet again next time, remember, don't ration the passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.